Hey guys, let's make this beautiful ZARA inspired cap together. The first material that I used to prep for this project is fusible interfacing or iron-on interfacing. And this is hard. It comes in different thicknesses, so try to find one that is a little bit thick. So I had to mark 2.5 inches long strip. My interfacing was about 1.2 meters long, and I cut about 2 strips of this interfacing. So in the end, I wanted to have about 4 of these because I'm going to layer them. So that I can get as much thickness as I can out of them. So the resulting length of each strip was 17.5 inches. So I had 4 17.5 by 2.5 inch strips of interfacing. Then I started to iron them together. For the first two, it's both shiny sides facing each other, and then I iron. Then I now start to put the shiny side down as I go along. For the remaining two, I just place them right on top of the other interfacing and just iron. So I have 4 of these stacked up together. So this is the result of the interfacing. It's a very thick piece of interfacing. Then I now went on to cut my fabric. My fabric was about 24 inches by 20 inches. And then I took my interfacing, then I folded it in half to get the center point, and then I marked. Then I also folded my fabric on the long side to get the center point, and then I put my interfacing in the middle, and then I aligned those center points. So what I did there was to just fold in about ½ an inch inside, making sure that the interfacing is on the inside. And then I would leave a little bit of allowance because I'm going to go on and stitch on the edge, making sure that I'm also not stitching on top of the interfacing. So you can basically feel where your interfacing ends, and then you start to put your pins there, and make sure that you not stitch on top of your interfacing. This is very important. And I don't think that even if I try to sew on it, I could, because the interfacing is very, very, very thick. The needle might not go through it. So after putting my pins like that, I now went on to stitch. And then after stitching, what I was doing there was to basically sort of like try to shift that sew line, to try and shift it towards the middle so that that seam will be in the middle. Then after that, I folded my fabric in half like that. And then I pinned it down. And then I took my roller and I marked about 3 inches. So after marking that 3-inch point, I now went on to stitch on that 3-inch point right towards the edge. And then I drew a line from that other corner up to the 3-inch point. You can also use your curved roller for this. I used my free hand and there was no problem at all. After drawing my line with a chalk, I just took my scissors and then I cut that corner away. I now took my needle and thread. I used about 4 threads for this. Your thread needs to be really strong. And then I just basically started doing a gathering stitch from that 3-point mark right up to the top. And as I was doing a tacking stitch, I was also pulling my thread to have like a gather effect.
Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start looking as lost control. It's paradise with honesty, but in the dead of the night, teardrops on the floor, the pain is over, feel the darkness.
Then after that, I turned my little head inside out. Then I now went on to work on my bows, and so I had 2 bows, one big and the one a little bit smaller. The first thing that you do is to fold them in half and then stitch on the side like that. Then right in the middle you leave about 1.5 to 2 inch small gaps. You now flip your fabrics over to bring the seam in the middle and then stitch on the other sides. Then you now use, after stitching, you now use that little gap that you left to turn it inside out. So the pink fabric was a little bit soft. The blue fabric was a little bit thick, so there was no need for me to put any interfacing on it. But I did add interfacing onto the smaller pink bow just to make it stand up a little bit, just to give it some thickness. And then so after turning everything inside out, I ironed it, and then this, and at that point I had my 2 bows, and then I just did a tacking stitch in the middle and gathered them using a needle and thread. So at that point you can go ahead and sew your bows onto the back of your head, or you can glue them, it depends on you. And the last thing that I did was to just add that decorative cover button. And at that point the DIY is basically done. I'm going to be doing more of this. I know I'm a little bit late to the party. This trended like last year and I know I'm only doing it now, you guys, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I've been wanting to do, but I never really got around to doing them. If you have watched this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.